for you. When you are at work, do you eat your lunch at your desk or do you give yourself a break? Sarah Vermunt is here to tell you that you need to take a break. Okay, the stats are pretty staggering. What do the statistics show us?
So there's a recent study that says 80% of us are eating lunch at our desks. We're not taking lunch breaks. That's a huge number.
Yes, so why are we doing that, do you think?
Well, there's quite a few reasons, actually. One, we're all so stressed out. It really feels like the pace of life is increasing all the time, so we're always feeling frantic, and we think, if I just push through for this hour, maybe I'll get a little more work done, and then finally I can leave work on time. Right. And I know, and probably you know, and probably everybody watching knows, that doesn't actually work.
No, it doesn't.
Right?
It doesn't.
Also, optics. If everyone else you're working with, or maybe your boss doesn't take a lunch, you sort of feel obligated to stay and work through your lunch as well. So optics is a big piece of it.
Yes.
And sometimes we also tend to think our work is, and ourselves, we're more important than we actually are. Like the company isn't gonna burn to the ground if you take half an hour or 45 minutes or even an hour for lunch.
Right. Stop being delusional.
Right.
You're not that important. It's very true though, because I think we can actually apply that to a lot of areas in our life. Like even me as a mom, sometimes I'm just not that special. You know, like I think I'm the only one that can do the laundry and I'm the only one that can take their outfits out. It's like, no.
It's totally not true.
No, they can do it.
It's
Other
not
people
true at
can
home,
do it.
and it's not true at work.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do it as well. And I
have done it too.
I do it for all those reasons. So that's me chowing down at my desk right after taping the show, thinking I will get these promos done and then I'll be able to get through everything on my desk and I'll be able to get out of here early. I never get out of there earlier because I took lunch at my desk.
Yeah,
right?
It never works.
So let's talk about why we should take a lunch break for ourselves and what some of the benefits might be.
Yeah, so very often when we think about taking a lunch break, we think it's to fuel our bodies, which is totally true. It's important for physical health and your brain needs fuel. But also, it's so important for mental health to actually just get a little bit of a break from the stress, to move your body a little bit. If you're, going to the lunchroom or going out for lunch with colleagues or going for a stroll, you're moving a little bit, which is also wonderful for stress. It's also really important to do it because, and this is so counterintuitive, it actually makes us more productive when we take a break.
Okay.
We are actually more productive. Like, think about how much you lose steam when you're like hangry.
Yes.
You don't want to cooperate well with your colleagues, or you just sort of get really frustrated with the problem. You can't be creative when you're hungry. Or even if you are eating but not taking a break, the stress still stays with you all day, and it's really hard to do good work when you're stressed out.
It's
true.
Your
productivity actually goes up when you take a break, and that is so counterintuitive. I know even for me, who reads the research and I understand it, it just feels like that shouldn't be so, but it is.
So your brain, when you're eating while you're working, your brain actually isn't even sending the signal that you are eating or that you're full. I mean, the other problem with it is that you're not mindfully eating. You're shoveling it in.
That's right. You're not making good choices, probably.
You're not making good choices, and you could keep going. Every day I get to the bottom of my container, I'm like, where's the rest?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, and you didn't even really notice that you were eating.
I didn't think about it. I'm like a Hoover, just sucking it in. So that's not good either, right?
Yeah.
What do you suggest we do, though, if you are around coworkers and they're getting judgy? Because you're the one that goes and you take a walk around the block and you think about life and you go outside to, to a beautiful outdoor space and you eat. What do you do about that?
The tricky thing is you can't control what people are going to think about it. And people are going to have questions and they might get a little bit judgy.
Yeah.
Like, every workplace has a couple of martyrs who want to be the one who works the hardest and wants to remind everybody else that they're working the hardest, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to please those people, so you have to kind of get comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And actually, I took this pretty seriously. I put myself on a 30-day lunch break experiment. I forced myself to take a lunch for 30 days.
How did that, first of all, how hard was that?
So hard.
It was, huh?
There are some days in the week, I'll usually make sure I take a lunch 2 to 3 days a week, but I don't do it consistently. So to do it consistently for a whole month was really interesting. So I did find that I was more productive.
Really?
Yeah, I really was. Also, there was a ripple effect in my personal life.
Okay.
I noticed that I would be home from work and I would have more energy than I would normally have. So I noticed that I went to yoga more that month. I also cooked more that month. I actually don't love cooking like a lot of people. And so when I would get home at the end of the day, it would be like takeout or like whatever's like easy to like throw in the oven. So like not healthy food. But when I had more energy at the end of the day, because I had a break in the middle of the day, I was cooking better food. I was cooking more often. My guess is I was probably a little more pleasant to be around in the evening.
Right.
I wasn't just wanting to sort of like flop on the couch and watch Netflix.
Yeah.
So I actually wasn't expecting a change in my personal life, but there was one. But I have to be honest also, some days were epic failures.
Okay, failure in what way?
Oh, like, you know, I would wake up fully intending to take the lunch break, but then my morning got off to a bad start, so I'd have a greasy breakfast sandwich at 10 a.m., and then, oh my gosh, this meeting went late, or there was an important call, and then it was greasy Chinese food at 3, and I actually noticed on those days didn't go as well, I wasn't as productive, and I was more stressed. So the best days in the month I found were days when I ate real food, like healthy food, and moved my body a little bit, like went for a walk somewhere.
So that I was going to ask you two things then. How long do we need to take? Is it 30 minutes or is it an hour? What do you think works? Can we just take 15, 20 minutes, or is that ridiculous?
If you're not taking a lunch break at all, I think any break is probably a big improvement. When I did this, I forced myself to take an hour every time. That's not always doable for people, especially if you never take a break. That's going to be quite a shock to the system.
And then are you walking? You do things like walk around,
walking is beautiful.
go outside.
Because, you know, taking a lunch break isn't just about feeding your body, it's also giving yourself a break from the work and a break from the stress. So doing something that involves moving your body or being outside, especially at this time of year, is a really wonderful thing to do.
Really good. So you did the challenge for yourself. We want you to take the challenge. So this is what we want you to do. For 5 days, take a lunch break. Okay, just take a lunch break. As Sarah said, it doesn't have to be epically, you know, an hour long. It can be 10, 15, 20 minutes, but get away from your work and make sure you are nurturing both your mind and your belly. So it's Sarah's 5-day challenge, and we want you to hashtag it Cityline Lunch and put that out there on Twitter. Send us pictures of your lovely walks, or maybe not. Maybe you shouldn't be on technology when you're taking a break. I don't know. What are the rules?
There are no rules.
Okay.
Just move in the right direction. And if you have an epic failure some days, that's fine. Start again tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, that's life, girl.
Right?
That's fine. Yeah.